Hi, my friend. Are you burned out and desperately want to quit your job, but you don't know how you can do it without avoiding having even more stress in your life? Well, you are not alone. Did you know that almost 60% of the US workforce wants to quit their job? I don't know about you, but that sounds like there is another great resignation about to happen. Over the next few weeks, we are going to weigh the pros and cons of quitting your job and put together a plan to help you leave yours and find a job you love. Hi, I'm Michelle, and welcome back to Connect Collective, where we discuss all things burnout recovery through rediscovery of you, who you are, what you want out of life, and how you're going to get it. This is the beginning of a two-part video on quitting your job. And I'm going to show you how to do it without adding extra stress to your life. In part one of how to quit your job, we are going to discuss the number one most important question you need to be asking yourself and why you need to be asking it. And then in part two, I'm going to step by step go through 3 escape plans that are proven to work so that you can quit your job. So grab your journal or something to write with and let's get started. Before you quit your job, there is a very simple question you need to ask to get crystal clear on what you want out of your career so that you can make a solid plan on how to get it. And that very simple question is why? Why do you want to quit your job? No job is 100% perfect. That is a little bit idealistic to think that you're going to have the perfect job that has no challenges and everything is pie in the sky. That ain't going to happen. However, there may be some fundamental things that just don't jive with you. So write those down. Don't just have them floating around in your head. You need to write them down because this is going to be a part of your escape plan. So if you are like most people who want to leave their 9-to-5 job and find another job, you're probably dealing with some frustrations or limitations like your salary. You don't think you're making enough money, or maybe the work hours are way heavier than you wanted and they are bleeding into your personal time with your family, your friends, or just being able to live life outside of work. Maybe you're feeling undervalued. A lot of the people that I work with have that feeling of being undervalued and they want to feel like they're accomplishing something more. Maybe you believe that your bosses have no boundaries. They're calling you at night or sending you emails and expecting you to reply to them. Maybe you're dealing with poor management. Not everybody who's in a management position should be in a management position. And maybe you feel like there's just no advancement opportunities or the right kind of advancement opportunities for you. I've been working with people throughout all of my career and specifically the past few years one-on-one to help them build a career that they love. A lot of people remain in their old jobs though. And why? We have to ask, why does that happen? Well, we are going to look at 2 specific mindsets that keep people locked into jobs that they really want to leave. And this is going to involve some writing because remember, we're creating a plan here. So open up that journal and divide that one page into 2 columns. Okay, so on the left column, I want you to write down everything that you love about your job. Every single little thing that you really enjoy. Maybe it is some aspect of your job that you enjoy. Write it down. Maybe it's the people that you work with. Write it down. Maybe it's the easy commute. Write it down. Anything that you like about your job, make sure you catalog it. Now, most of the time, we don't 100% hate our jobs. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes we are in hell and we don't like anything about it. But if there's anything that you like at all, write it down in that left column. Now, in the right column, I want you to write down anything that you absolutely hate about your job, but that you're skilled at doing. You have the skill to do it. especially, and maybe put an asterisk beside the things that you do well, but you hate doing them. For example, you may absolutely loathe customer service, but you might be a rock star at customer service. Write it down in that column. So the things that you're good at or you're skilled at, but you hate doing it. This is very important. Okay, now we are ready to discuss two mindsets that have cropped up over and over and over again with people that I have coached. The number one mindset that I want to discuss with you is what I call the glimpses. Now, we have probably all experienced the glimpses at some point in our life, more than likely with a relationship that we remained in for far too long. The glimpses are kind of like that bad relationship. It's not a great relationship. You know it's not a great relationship. You're getting ready to break up with that person, and then they do something really nice. Maybe they take you out to a fantastic dinner or on a wonderful vacation, or they buy you a really nice, expensive gift. There's something, though, that keeps you in that relationship. That's what the glimpses are. Maybe it reminds you of how fabulous things used to be. It is the same thing with a job that you remain in too long. Maybe you're having a bad week, but you have a great lunch or a happy hour with your colleagues and you think, I hate my job, but I really like the people I work with and I would hate to not be working with them anymore. Or maybe you are ready to call it quits. You're going to turn in your resignation. And then that same week, your boss comes to your office and says, good news, you're up for a raise this year. Or you're going to be moved up to VP. Or maybe they offer to let you work remotely 1 or 2 days a week. And you think to yourself, yeah, I really hate what I do, but I don't know that I'm going to have the opportunity to work remotely somewhere else. Now, if that happens, if you find yourself in that situation, this is what I want you to think about. Maybe those things are enough for you. Maybe it's like, yeah, fine, I can hang in, I'm good. Working remotely or getting that raise, it made life so much better for me. That's fine. If that works for you, great, fabulous. But if it did not solve any of the problems that you wrote up above about why you wanted to quit your job in the first place, then it's really just a temporary respite, isn't it? And here's the deal. You will always look for a reason to stay because change is difficult and challenging and uncomfortable. So now I want you to write the glimpses above column 1. Mindset number 2 that I want to discuss is what I call running into a burning house. So this is discussing the list where you put everything that you hate doing, but that you're skilled at doing. This is a mindset that defies logic to me, but I have seen it happen again and again, which is why I'm bringing it up. People will leave their current job and take a job doing almost the exact same thing, even though they hated their job. Or they will take a job with no upward mobility, even though they felt undervalued at their last job and had no upward mobility. Now, maybe they're making more money, but it didn't solve their problem. And I see this happen all the time. People will take a job doing things that they don't enjoy doing, but they had the skills doing. I will have conversations with the people that I coach, and they will send me the jobs that they're applying to, and I'll say, but Jan, this is doing customer service, and you told me that you absolutely hate customer service. And I'll hear, yeah, but I'm really good at it. Okay, but that doesn't solve your problem. And when you get into that new job, yes, maybe the nice new smell of that job will keep you going for a little bit of time, but pretty soon your hate of customer service is going to kick in and you're going to be miserable all over again. So when you're comfortable and familiar with something, you will talk yourself into doing that thing simply because you know how to do it. Remember, You are hardwired to avoid discomfort. So now, above that right column, I want you to write, don't run into burning houses. Let's go back up to that very top list when I had you write down the reasons why you wanted to quit your job. This is one of the foundational pieces of your escape plan. If you believe you're not being paid enough, I want you to write down how much you believe you should be paid and what makes you think that. Here's the thing. If you want to quit your job, you can absolutely do it. But the people who do it successfully are the ones who plan for it. And over the course of the videos I'm putting out, we are going to plan for it because we want you to leave your job, find a job you love, and have as little stress as possible. So again, talking about salary, how experienced are you in your field? What is the salary range of people in your field? What is the average salary in your field and in your area? For example, there are some jobs that if you're doing them in New York City, you're going to get paid a heck of a lot more than you would if you are doing that same job somewhere in Iowa. Now, we're going to tie all of these things in throughout your plan to escape your job. So, for example, we're going to discuss things like how you're going to write a resume that supports your desire to get a higher salary, or how you're going to interview, how you're going to negotiate terms if you're taking a new job. If you feel undervalued in your position, what would you look for in another job that you don't have available at your current job? What questions would you ask a potential employer about how they value their employees? If you're dealing with poor management in your current position, what happened there? Did you always have those managers, or were you the unfortunate victim of a new management team being brought in? Were there any red flags? Is there a way that during the interviewing process, you could have asked some really strong questions that would help you understand how management works in that job, in that company? You need to be prepared to ask questions that will help you ascertain what the management feel is like at a particular company, what their vision is, what their mission is, and how they actually make it happen. If you want to leave your job because there's a lack of advancement opportunities, what does advancement look like to you? You have to get crystal clear on these things. If you don't know what you want specifically, how can you plan to get it? And I saved the best one, the most pressing one, I think, for last. And that is boundaries. If the reason you want to leave your job is because you feel that your management has no boundaries when it comes to you and you find yourself working too many hours, I want to press you on this and I want to ask you, what is your responsibility in that? And I'll give you the perfect example. I have a good friend of mine that I'm currently working with, and that person has wanted to leave their job for a very long time. And she is constantly working evenings, weekends, when she's on vacation. And whenever I push back on it, she will say, I have to. And I push right back on her and say, you choose to. And yes, there are some fields that kind of have you on 24/7 call. I was in such a field. I was a principal for many years of an independent school. And if there was ever anything going on, I had to be ready to roll. I had to be ready to go out the door and take care of a problem, even on weekends, even when I was on vacation. So if that is a reason that you want to leave a job, number one, you have to ask yourself, are you not setting boundaries? Because I'll tell you right now that people will not be respectful of the boundaries that you don't set. And number two, if it is a field where you are pretty much on call 24/7 and you don't want to be, then you might have to look for a different field to be in. So again, detail what it is that makes you want to leave your job, and then get crystal clear on what you want that to look like in a future job. Now, a little bit later in future videos, I'm going to discuss things like freelancing, leaving the traditional 9 to 5 job, being a solopreneur, being your own boss, whatever. But right now I'm zeroing in on the 9 to 5ers. And I want to reiterate that you can be successful at this. But I want to tell you about a statistic that's really important. Fewer than 10% of people ever complete their goals successfully. And I'm going to tell you right now that it isn't because they don't have the skills or that they just can't make it happen. Almost all the time, I am willing to say 99% of the time, it's because they forfeited. It is failure by forfeit. They give up, and so they don't accomplish their goals. And those are the statistics. They show up over and over and over again, and I have experienced them during my coaching career, during my management career. I see it all the time. People give up. So if you don't give up and if you apply this plan, you can be successful. So I hope you will come back next week when I discuss part 2, the 3 escape plans that are proven. They will work. They will if you want to quit your job this year. So I hope you got value out of this video. If you did, please give it a like. Please consider subscribing. I appreciate you. And until next time, friends, I am sending you all peace, love, and harmony.